Hey, everybody. This is Dan,
And I'm Matt.
and we got a heck of a show for you today.
Well, what's it about? You know what? Don't worry about what it's about. We'll get to what it's about. Just remember, over the course of this episode, we don't want you to be your own worst enemy.
We don't.
Well, I mean, unless being your own worst enemy leads you to listen to our show, then yes, we do.
Yes, we do want that. So what he said.
Boys and girls, it's time to get lit.
Favorite 90s band?
No, but I think that's more because I saw them live and they were terrible.
All right. Yeah, I thought you for sure were going to say Foo Fighters was your favorite 90s band. And the reason I say that is because Lit was nobody's favorite 90s
No,
band.
Lit was for sure nobody's favorite 90s band. No, I'll be honest. I don't think Foo Fighters was my favorite 90s band.
What was it?
I don't know. I don't consider them a 90s band. Like when they legitimately got huge, like Color in the Shape Tour was in 97.
Mm-hmm.
That's at the end of the 90s. So by the time they legitimately got big, I mean, maybe it was 99, but I would say it was early 2000s.
Okay.
When I think of 90s bands, like even if you're just picking Dave Grohl bands, I would say Nirvana over Foo, just because they're more 90s all the way through, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, legitimately for me, it's probably Stone Temple Pilots or Alice in Chains.
Good choices. Now, did Lit, the band, actually get out of the 90s?
They started in the 90s. Did they get out? I don't know.
I don't want to bag on Lit too much because honestly, they had a couple really good songs, but
Oh, yeah. Name the second one.
I liked Miserable.
Yeah,
one
they
where-
did have two songs.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Miserable was catchy, but it didn't hurt that they had Pam Anderson running around eating them alive in the video or something like that. So
I think really, if they should be anywhere, it's probably in front of a psychoanalyst, a therapist sort of thing.
why is that?
Because their two top hits were Miserable and My Own Worst Enemy.
For our slower listeners like myself, I needed that explained to me.
We're going to start referring to you as Tracy.
Yeah, our own Tracy. We shouldn't have a Tracy. We need somebody else.
Karen.
I'm sure we'll have plenty of Karens. So
Karen needs everything explained to her, like how
Yeah.
restaurants work
and how to spell Lit.
how to not make people feel worse about themselves,
So you don't have a favorite Lit song?
how to not get a haircut by Floby. What's up?
Oh, Floby. Oh man, he's throwing it out there.
Do I have a favorite Lit song?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's My Own Worst Enemy.
because that's the only song you know, though, right?
Pretty much. I do know Miserable, I guess.
Yeah. I guess we should actually discuss the word Lit instead of the band. It's turned into like a fan zone for Lit, the band.
If both of their fans could please reach out to us and let us know if we got anything wrong, that would be great.
Oh, they're already doing it. I'm afraid to check the email.
In fact, they're probably sitting at home, you're listening to this episode, just saying how lit it is.
Yeah. You think they're getting lit up?
Yeah, probably.
Lit's one of those words that seems to be, at least it's been around for a little while. I was kind of surprised that I heard my daughter and her friend use it still, and they use it a lot. They're like, yeah, you can get lit. That's totally a current word. I'm like, that's one of the words we used to refer to back in the day, which if anybody didn't know, back in the day, I think was a Tuesday.
No, it was a Thursday.
Was it Thursday?
Yeah.
All right. Damn it.
Yeah, but even then, I feel like lit has taken on, I mean, they are using it in the way that we used to use it. Yeah, I think they've given it additional meanings, maybe.
It's obviously the original origin is lit, like you're lighting a fire or lighting combustion of some kind or something. You lit the room with light or something, but that's not what anybody uses that term for anymore. It's obviously about partying and getting drunk and high stuff like that.
I mean, in the defense of high, you are lighting something and giving it combustion.
See, that's too Mr. Science for me.
But I mean, even then, like that's not the only definition of lit anymore. Like there's lit and just something that's like a really cool happening. Like that party was lit. It's not just about like getting lit, which would be partying, hanging out, having a good time. But you could describe the party itself as being lit, which would just be cool, banging, some would say it slaps.
But also, like, isn't the word lit, that was a short version for like a lit class, like literature class that you would have used in college, or even some might have in high school.
Yeah, I think I've heard that, from the 60s or 70s.
Really? We used to call it lit in the 90s or 80s. Well, I graduated in 92, so it was kind of a follower between 88 and 92. But yeah, we used to refer to literature class as lit.
Yeah, we never did.
Is that because you didn't take literature?
No, it's because it was the 90s and we used proper terms.
We were too busy combing, teasing our hair that we didn't have time to say literature.
We were too busy making recipes for future generations to make meth.
They perfected it too.
Really dialed it in. Thanks, guys.
I've just clicked on Urban Dictionary, as we randomly do it from time to time. Typed in lit, and the first thing that pops up is when something is turned up or popping.
Does it say turned? Or does it say turnt?
It actually says turned, ED.
Huh. Not very hip of Urban Dictionary, I would say.
Well, what millennials use when describing that is fire or dope, meaning cool or awesome. Yeah. So we're a few, like about half dozen episodes into this podcast, and you realize how many different words seem to just be in place of awesome or being cool or good.
Yes. Do you also realize how many of them don't save you any time?
True.
Because I feel like, that's part of slang, right? You want to be able to say something in a condensed format. Thanks, Twitter and pagers.
Yeah, thanks, hip hop artists.
But yeah, I think that, any of these words for cool or awesome or whatever, they're all interchangeable. They don't save you any time. I don't want to say they're a waste of time. Like I suppose there's some small differentiation we're not picking up on between each of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you may or may not call a party dope. I don't know. You would call a party lit. You would call some sort of activity you saw potentially dope.
Yeah.
But wouldn't necessarily call that lit.
I think lit and dope are really interchangeable, and I think they get used a lot in that way, even now.
I guess. I just don't see it that way.
You don't?
No.
Well, how many parties do you go to?
All of them.
I was going to say, I didn't see you at the last one.
Well,
by party, I mean at home watching Apple TV.
Yeah, I usually wear a mask. Real eyes wide shut situation.
I was going to say, it's like a fantasy mask with feathers, and it's beautiful. It brings out the color of his beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I just think that the actual definition between the definition we know and the definition now, they're not entirely dissimilar, but they're not the same.
Have you heard your kids use it yet?
No. Lit's too old for my kids.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy because, well,
they're going to use
Jaden
slaps
uses
or
it.
something like that.
I use
Your kids are older than my kids.
But Jaden's what, 5 years older than Tyler?
No, he's like,
he turns 20 next week.
Okay, then yes, 5.
See, that's math. No off on the genius switch, people.
What else is this Urban Dictionary got for lit? Is there anything fun?
Urban Dictionary always has something fun.
Does it?
Well, we use it like it's got something fun all the time. Maybe we should actually use the real dictionary and see if it's in there. We could do dueling dictionaries.
Did you know that lit actually becomes unlit when overused or used excessively?
What?
I know you're begging for an example. Oh man, we were so lit last night that was a lit ass time with lit ass friends. STFU, which is NSFW, just so you know. This word used excessively becomes lame and unlit and makes you seem like a tryhard MF. That's from Dogho 44. Who now we get into it. Extremely intoxicated. See?
Mm-hmm.
Adjective, high, stoned, out of it. This one even works for us. It says, hey, Dan, let's go get lit and jump off my roof.
I think I've actually heard that in my life.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Ooh, here's a couple definitions. It gives 2 definitions. A term used to describe something that is cool and exciting, or generally something you would want to experience. Or in literal terms, it means if something is on fire or catches fire.
So be honest. Do you ever use lit throughout the day? I know you have probably in the past.
Yeah,
but...
I definitely have in the past. Do I use it throughout the day? No, not really.
Yeah. That's one of those words. If I drop that in front of somebody, I think they'd be like, "Are you trying to be 20?"
Okay, here we go. And so what's funny to me is like that older definition, that thing that's like cool or awesome, right?
Yeah.
That has graduated to fire thanks to the fire emoji, because there's not an emoji for lit specifically.
True.
Where lit has carried on as describing some sort of function.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't say that party was fire. Well, maybe you would.
Yeah. They throw fire on everything.
Stupid arsonists.
They've actually, thanks to my daughter and her friend, they've informed me that they don't even do fire anymore or slaps. They say that nut. So
yeah, I don't want to get to that term. Let's skip that for the first year.
We've got that to look forward to. And, honestly, with lit, you mentioned that it's referred to as for intoxication or getting high. And it never got used for intoxication when I was younger. It was always referred to as actually, smoking. And it was usually just used for that. It wasn't even used for like, if anybody was like, snorting lines and stuff like that. Yeah. But I'm also old.
Well, I don't think anybody around. No, somebody around me had to have been doing drugs, but I don't know who it was, and they didn't make it very obvious. So I think in our circle, lit was definitely more about the drunk side of intoxication.
Okay. We just used the word drunk or blotto or shit-faced. Shit-faced was a good one. Stupid.
Which is kind of funny anyway, like when you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where did shit face come from? Did somebody get so drunk that they fell down face first into a pile of shit?
It's got to be.
Like, there's no other reason that you would call it that.
Yeah, it has to literally be something that literally happened, and that's why they thought of shit-faced.
Right.
I'd have loved to have been there in that moment.
Like, for instance, I had a friend that once was at a party, and he and my other friends were doing flaming Dr. Pepper shots.
Okay.
And as smart as he was, and he's one of the smartest people I know, he was unaware that you had to blow the shot out before taking the shot.
Okay.
And so, by extension, lit himself on fire when trying to take the shot.
Actually lit.
So he got lit.
Wow. He could put that on his resume.
Maybe he is patient zero for the term lit.
I wish he was patient zero for shit-faced. See, we got to study that. We should look that up.
Like, what about ass hat? Was there a guy walking around with a hat shaped like a pair of buns on his head?
I think ass hat came from somebody got sat on in a good way. And
yeah, but then you wouldn't call that person an ass hat.
Well, it kind of...
The term is definitely derogatory.
It can be used as derogatory.
Is used as derogatory.
I don't know. I think there's some hip hop artists that would disagree with you.
Are there?
Yeah. Yeah. All those artists out there, you can chime in on this for us. Give us an email or a text or, I don't know, carrier pigeon.
Smoke signals.
Smoke signals. You can get them. Yeah. Light them up.
Yeah. All you have to do is get that fire lit. Send over them smoke signals.
Wow. You're going for it there, aren't you?
Well, I mean, you can't talk about lit without talking about the Springfield tire fire.
All right. Let's hear it.
Or the Flaming Moe.
Oh, there you go. I want Flaming Moe history.
I mean, there's not too much to say. Moe was falling on hard times.
Mm-hmm.
Homer had come up with a cocktail.
All right, we got to back it up. For anybody who hasn't listened to us before, these are all Simpson characters from the famous cartoon, The Simpsons.
Karen out there, this is from episodes of The Simpsons. It's been on Fox for the better part of 40 years. So, if you don't know what it is at this point.
And my partner, Matt, here knows all 40 seasons.
That's actually not true. Don't call me out on that. I haven't watched a season in probably 20 years at this point. But
okay,
in the early seasons, there was a point where Moe had fallen on hard times at his bar and was looking for a thing to bring people in. And so they were trying to come up with a new drink, and Homer came up with a new beverage that was finished with Krusty brand cough syrup and lit on fire. And so he introduced it to Mo, and then Mo stole the recipe and got super famous, and Mo's basically became a nightclub, and he was making all this kind of money. And right before he signed the contract to make even more money that he was going to split with Homer for giving him the recipe, Homer drunkenly dressed in his robe, sprang from the rafters, and gave up the secret ingredient of cough syrup. And
as Homer would do.
Yes. And the bar brand that was going to buy the drink from Mo said, "Thank you, crazy person," and left without giving Mo any of the money. And then Mo went back to his shitty bar.
That's actually one of my favorite Simpsons. I love that. The Flaming Mo.
Yeah, that episode is really good.
Yeah.
All those famous people coming through. And
they were in a real good groove when that episode was coming out.
Yeah. For seasons 3 through 8 or 9 or probably the 6 or 7 best seasons of TV ever. They're that good.
I'll second that emotion.
Not to be confused with Music Hit. Second that emotion.
No. Yeah, let's confuse that. And as always, we've managed to throw a Simpson reference in, I think, almost every episode now.
We're trying anyway.
Yeah. We would usually do a Kardashian, reference, but it doesn't seem to work as well.
I don't think they did anything that was lit. I wonder if they ever went to a lit class.
That doesn't sound right when you say it now.
Yeah, I know, because nobody used it.
We always did. Dude, you're going to be late for lit, dude.
Yeah. While you were wearing your cardigan, your khakis.
No, it was holy jeans with spandex underneath it.
And then you didn't say lit. Unless
we said dude a lot.
Unless you got into a DeLorean that was outfitted with a flux capacitor and found yourself in the 50s, and then maybe were late for lit in the clothes that you were wearing in the 80s when you left.
They said lit back in the 50s?
No. Well, yes, for literature.
Yeah. Like we did in the 80s and 90s.
We did not in the 80s and 90s.
Well, you were like 5 in the 80s, right?
In part of the 80s, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, the year that Back to the Future came out, I was 5.
Yeah. So you were barely using the word term lit because you probably didn't get stoned that much at 5. You don't usually do that to about 7 or 8, right?
Well, now I'm confused with what your lit class was. Were you getting stoned or were you reading books?
Well, you're supposed to read books, but there was not a whole lot of reading going on.
Were you just tearing pages out and turning them into fat spliffs, as the kids probably said then?
Spliffs. Can you spell spliffs?
I think SPLIFF.
I'm going to trust him on that because I've never even used the word spliffs before.
What were you even doing to get lit then?
Hey, I got high on life.
Oh.
I got lit on oxygen.
Oxygen is very flammable, so that's where it checks.
Yeah. So I got lit on life. Hey, is that one of Lit's songs? Lit on Life?
No.
Oh, it's like a Sugar Ray song, right?
Probably.
Yeah. That's my favorite 90s band.
Ooh, they're even worse live.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Mark McGrath, more like Mark McBloch.
I've heard some of the audience members have actually lit themselves on fire at their concerts. Oh, I know that's Great White. Sorry. Oh, too soon? Yeah.
Wait, did that happen at a Great White show?
Yeah, you don't remember like 10... Well, they didn't... The audience wasn't lighting themselves on fire, but they did a show at a club that didn't have any fire guidelines, and they had too many people inside, and their pyro set the thing on fire and killed like a bunch of people. And now 20 years later...
The show was white hot.
Oh, 20 years later, we're on a podcast making fun of that awful, awful day. Good times. Good times.
I think the shocking point for me would be that was only 20 years ago.
Maybe in 10 or 15. You don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
Huge news.
Was it like a club in Kingman? Because that doesn't count as a club.
No.
But explains why nobody was able to get themselves out in time.
So I don't know if there's a lot of Great White fans, but the singer's Jack Russell, and he went solo.
So was he a terrier?
He's shaped like one. But he went solo, and he does the Great White songs. But he actually played the Kingman Fairgrounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good times. I didn't go to it.
At that point, he was just referred to as mediocre white.
Yeah. Wah, wah. I know 17 people that went though, so, and they were probably all lit.
Well, if you know 17 people, did only 18 people go, or did you just happen to know 17 people that were there?
Yeah, because there was probably...
Wait, Kingman has fairgrounds?
Yeah.
Are they like the capital of the county or something?
No, it's the old horse track that it's just full of mud and they just call it the fairgrounds. Because that's where they stick the fair every year.
Oh, yeah, but what fair? That's the point I'm making. Is it just a Kingman City fair?
I guess it's the one with all the carnies that travel through, the ones that'll like steal your kids and stuff.
Isn't that all of them?
No, there's some nice fairs, like the ones that come here, the Phoenix Fair, the State Fair.
More like the State Unfair.
Oh,
you want another Simpsons reference?
Oh man, I just lit him up again.
Because there was the episode where Lisa and the entire band went to the State Fair, and they played this kick-ass song, and then this other school came up.
She was playing saxophone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I know shit. See that? Oh.
And this other school came up, played, what song was it by John Philip Sousa? It's unimportant, but
you remember John Philip Sousa, but you don't remember the song.
But Lisa got all pissed. Well, she got sort of, I don't know. She was lit about it. Let's put it that way. And she decided that there was no way that this band could win because they were just pandering to the judges. But then they won, and then she referred to the State Fair as the State Unfair.
There you go. That was a long way to get to unfair.
I think it was Stars and Stripes Forever. Yeah, that's what they were playing. Stars and Stripes Forever. And then they ended with glow sticks that looked like the United States flag. Wait, so do Jaden and Liv still use lit?
Yeah. So Liv is my oldest. She's turning 23 this year, and my son Jaden is about to turn 20. And they both use lit. As a matter of fact, as I was preparing for this episode, my daughter came and grabbed my phone, which I had my list of slang terms I wanted to introduce to you and stuff.
Yeah, we're old. We can't remember things, so we need lists.
Yeah, and she had to show me how to actually put it in my notes. So, but lit was one of the ones she put on there, and I go, "Well, that's an old word. We've used that forever." And she's like, "No, we use that now." And then she threw out like, "No, yeah, that this show's lit, or this party's lit," and stuff like that. And she's like, "You know, Dad." And I'm like, "Well, I know exactly what lit means. Like, you don't have to look at me like I'm that old."
So now I'm confused. Is this a flashback episode or a current episode?
I almost think we could go either way. Yeah, I was struggling with that myself. We're going to put it as, because it's still being currently used. So to me, it's a current word.
Is it converging timelines?
Oh my goodness. I hope so. I've been waiting for something like that forever.
We're going to break the time and space equilibrium
with lit?
Maybe.
So if we do that.
Just think if they were saying that in the 1800s.
No. They actually would have said literature back in the 1800s.
Not Thomas Edison.
Why not?
Well, because was that the 1800s or early 1900s? Whatever. Light bulbs.
All right. Light bulbs.
I'm just saying. You would have said, that's lit.
No, they would have said that lit up the room.
Oh.
Yeah.
You lit up my life.
There we go. Who's did that song?
You light up my life? I don't know who did that song. I'm the Simpsons guy.
Oh, that's right.
You're the music guy.
Isn't You Light Up My Life like Karen Carpenter or something like that?
Oh, probably. And if it is, I should know that because the theater at Long Beach State University is named after the Carpenters. So,
we'll just go. Yeah, we'll go with the Carpenters.
No, I don't want to go with that. That makes me look like I don't know anything about the school I went to for 2 years.
Hey, there's this thing. It's called
the internet.
Yeah, the World Wide Web, and it's right in front of you.
Yeah,
on like 3 different devices. Actually 4.
But I don't want to be. Well, that one's on the floor.
And 5. My iPad is over here.
So you said Carpenter?
I said Karen Carpenter. Ooh. I don't know why.
Debbie Boone.
Oh. Well, let's get back to this convergence thing you were talking about, because if worlds collide here with lit,
right? It's like Bell Bottoms coming back.
But would it make lit the band cool the second time around? What if they became like the Foo Fighters?
Ooh, interesting question. Were they cool the first time around?
For 5 minutes? Because if I remember right, you watched, man, this episode has a lot of references to this band.
So now if they were cool for like 5 minutes, then you would assume that the comeback, they would also be cool for 5 minutes. So it's entirely possible that we've already missed their second wave of popularity.
Or this podcast will be the jumping off point for the next wave of lit, which they can tour on relit.
Yeah, that's nice. That's almost as good as my gin and tonic tour with the Gin Blossoms and Tonic.
Let's hear it.
No, that's the tour.
Oh,
it's a gin and tonic tour, but the tour is the Gin Blossoms and the band Tonic.
It's 2 on the nose.
You would think so, but guess who played together a couple weeks ago? The Gin Blossoms and Tonic.
Tonic? What? Tonic was there?
Apparently, not at the brewery.
Oh,
I
would say if you didn't invite me, and those guys were there,
yeah, I wouldn't have let you miss Lemon Parade. All right,
get me all lit.
The point is, yeah, maybe this is that jumping off point for lit. I don't know. You know, maybe people will start listening to My Own Worst Enemy. If there's anything that millennials are, it's their own worst enemy. So maybe it's the perfect song for them.
That just sounds miserable to me. See what I did there?
Most of you don't. Those are 2 different songs by the band Lit that we referenced in the same phrase.
Yeah. I have a feeling anybody my age, when they see the word lit as one of our words for the episode, the first thing they're going to pop in their mind is going to be that band. Because I think a lot of people of my age, for at least a short time, probably had a really good, they really liked that band. They got popular for a reason.
Yeah, I don't know if I follow.
You don't think so? I'm just trying to bring it around because if they're still around, I would love to have a lit on the show.
Okay, sure. But I think they got popular also because they hit before music videos stopped being a thing on music television.
Mm-hmm.
And so their videos were okay and got a lot of play, in the, what was it called? TRL with the Carson Daly.
Total Request Live.
Yeah. So,
the original Seafoam.
Seafoam.
Yeah. Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were just talking about the color green.
Which I think if you watch any of the lit videos, they wear pants that are that color.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or are you just saying that for the episode?
No. If you watch this thing, that was the one thing that got me, is like, there was a lot of tank tops and a lot of the pants that had like 10 different colors and bowling shoes and stuff. That was kind of their thing. And the spiked hair and
Joseph's Technicolor Dream Pants.
Yeah. I love lit. I want to revisit lit. Let's do lit at least once every year. You with me?
Based on the changes in definition over time, yeah, like it'll probably mean something entirely different a year from now.
All right. You're down to clown then, right?
Not when you say it that way. No.
Thought I was going to pull that off.
I'm not down to clown. I'm not down with the brown.
I don't think anybody's down with the brown.
I'm not down to wear a gown.
All right.
Well, I was the bearded lady one year for Halloween. So
yeah,
there was one time where I was down to wear a gown.
One time
so far where I was down to wear a gown.
That was probably so lit.
I am down to frown. I do that all the time.
Yeah. Mr. Mopey. That's why he has the beard, so you can't see it. He always looks happy with the beard.
That's why people call me Eeyore.
Do they?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh.
I got really excited the other day because there was an article that I was reading about different bitter cocktails.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was called Eeyore. And I was like, oh, finally, some recognition.
At least it's not Snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus?
Snuffleupagus? Well, you can't say it right?
You can't say it right.
What do you mean?
Look it up.
Snuffleupagus. It's luff, not lug. What are you talking about?
Or I didn't say lug. I said lup.
Snuffleupagus?
Yeah.
It's with a P? Have I been living my life wrong? Oh my God.
You and everybody I know has been living their life wrong because everybody says snuffleupagus, and I can't figure out why.
Oh my, now I'm sad. Now I'm Eeyore. Are you going to tell me I've been saying Big Bird wrong too?
Yeah, it's Big Boyd.
Classic. Oh my God. You truly just blew my mind with that.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I suppose you thought it was Oscar the Slouch too.
I love Oscar. Oh my God, I'm so disappointed in the world right now.
Gert and Bernie.
Oh my God, how awful.
Remember when they switched noses? Man, that was a good episode.
All Bert and Ernie's are the best, man. Hey, Bert and Ernie. Are they lifelong friends or are they lifelong friends?
Well, I should start this by saying they don't have any end of life expectation because they're puppets. But I think that anybody that switches noses is definitely lifelong friends.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No.
And
anybody that's been wearing the same horizontal striped sweater for 60 years, probably. Like,
I had an Ernie doll when I was growing up. I love that thing.
I mean, you can't be too mad. Inspector Gadget's worn the same clothing for however many years now. But
well, I think we covered lit pretty well. It's exactly what we thought.
Literature spans hundreds of thousands of years.
And if not literature, then knowledge.
I mean, it really stepped forward with Gutenberg's invention of the printing press.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
But lit's been around forever.
Yeah. And it sounds like it's going to stay around forever.
Yeah, I think so. How do you feel about this episode?
I love it. I love lit. I love this episode. I love everybody. Again, another successful show. I like lit. It's been lit being here. Literature is fun. I did use lit instead of literature, whether you believe me or not.
We hope you had fun.
Yeah, we always have fun. And please let us know what you thought of lit and if you have any stuff like that, because we'll revisit lit. We'll relit this up.
5-star reviews only.
Yeah, 5-star. 5 lights, 5 fire. What is it? The fire emoji?
Yeah, five fire emojis.
Yeah. That's a lot of fire.
Some would possibly think that was like a forest fire, though.
That's what we want.
2 trees, 5 fire emojis.
Look how we can do that. That's lit.
Do you love Lamp?
What is that?
Do you love Lamp?
What is lamp?
Have you not seen that movie?
Refresh me.
You serious? Anchorman?
Oh, Jesus. All right. I brain farted on that. Sorry, people. Let's get back to lit so I don't look as dumb as I do in person right now.
I'm taking applicants for a new co-host for the podcast, Hang Out with Your Slang Out. Please send all requests to Matthew at hangoutslangout.com.
There we go. But you can't have a beard. He has the beard.
Also, when those get returned, realize it's because we have not set up the emails hangoutslangout.com yet.
No. We have set up the hangoutslangout@gmail.com.
Yeah, but we don't have the domain for emails.
Oh, yes, we do. We'll domain the hell out of this. I'll light that domain up.
Will it be eminent domain?
If you want it to be.
I don't.
All right.